Hey baddies!
What's up, guys?
Today is episode 5 already. We are talking about... There's a pink hair on the microphone. We are talking about how work ethic kind of, for us, came from starting work at such a young age and kind of all the things that we feel like that played a role into us owning a business now and developing the business owning skills that we have today. So let's dive right in. Oh, also, we should add that we just uploaded episode 3 part 2 because we were told last week sometime that we got cut off during the uploading point. So episode 3 part 2, the other half that you guys are missing, is out now. So go give that a listen.
Cool beans. So let's dive right in and talk about our first job as well as when we started working. So, Becca, what was your/our first job?
I was going to say our first job because my first job, we literally worked together. We worked at, it was called Dauber's Cafe. It was in Little Canada, Minnesota, attached to this bingo hall. And we started working there, gosh, were we like... We had to be like 13 or 14.
Yeah, I think you were 14 and I was 13. And fun little thing about that bingo hall is like all my family worked there when I was a little kid. So the fact that that was my first job was kind of ironic, to be honest with you. So.
We could only work during the summer and we could still only work like Friday, Saturday, Sunday for like 4 hours at a time because child labor laws. But we were so determined to make our own money, have something for ourselves, get out, start working, also like spend a little bit more time together because of course we worked together. I got the job there and then I told you to apply and I told them you were my girlfriend and they were like, hell yeah. Because fun fact, the owners of that cafe were a lesbian couple. So it would literally just be like the 4 of us running the cafe that was attached to the bingo hall. They had daytime hours, I remember, and it would be like an ice cream shop with like sandwiches and stuff like that. But that side got shut down, and then it was like we were working basically out of the back room with like this little window into the bingo hall. So we'd be serving drinks and little snackies and dinner, like burgers and stuff like that to the people that were in there playing bingo. So that's where we started. That was our first job. That was do you remember when I was doing dishes and you threw the fucking knives in there? Like, just threw the knives in the water. If anybody has ever worked in food service, you know you're supposed to set the knives out of the water because somebody's going to be just grabbing in there, and I sliced the fuck out of my hand.
Oh, you were so fucking pissed with me. You were like, Frankie?
Yeah, I fucked my shit up. So, yeah, that was...
So sorry about that.
That was a good job. What do you feel like kind of skills and just overall behaviors and mentality did you and I learn from having a job at such a young age? Because I know that while that was our first job and we could only work so little, it definitely kind of set the mood for our work ethic and our drive for money and working.
Yeah, and I think it also, like, set an example on how you and I could work together, you know what I mean?
100%.
Because, we mentioned before that we would work on, like, school projects and stuff together, but in this particular environment, we were actually, like, working together at an actual job, so, but I feel like starting to work at such a young age really impacted me in a positive way because it led me to be really financially responsible and to really appreciate the value of money because, I come from like more of a middle class family where we didn't quite have that much. So, being able to really get appreciation for the value of $1 as well as how quickly it goes away when you spend it on dumb shit.
Especially when your paycheck is like $150.
Oh, but back then, that made us rich, right?
Yeah, no, seriously.
So yeah, I feel like it really just gave me an appreciation for the value of $1 because, 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, and, that could be gone in 2 evenings of having fun. So,
yeah.
How about you?
I feel like it definitely set the tone for having to maintain a schedule. And even though, like, the owners were there with us, you and I kind of, like, did everything, right? Like, we were taking orders. We were passing them along to the 2 ladies that were the cooks. We were taking the orders once they were done out to the people. We were cleaning up at the end of the night. We were, like, we were kind of hustling. Like, we had a shit ton of, like, tasks in our little kind of
environment kitchen thing.
Yeah, like, we didn't have that big of, like, a title or anything, and it wasn't a big deal, but we had a lot of things to do. So I think it also put into play, like, multitasking and being able to, like, wear many hats at one time, which I feel like definitely goes hand in hand with all of the other jobs that I know I worked later on in life and that you did as well. And then being business owners on top of it. I feel like it's very fitting there. It definitely showed me that the more you put in, the more you get out, as far as, like, however many hours you work is how much money you get. And I definitely see where that, has came into adulthood, and I am very much so a work hard, you know, because now I'm just constantly chasing, like, the satisfaction of payday. So definitely sticking to a schedule, like you said, the value of $1, and just overall the depth of our work ethic and our just how hard we actually work. I hear from people all the time, and I'm sure you do too, about how people will be like, gosh, I could never own a business. I don't know how you do it. My brain would never work that way. I couldn't work that hard. I could never blah, 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 blah. And I think that's where a lot of this stems from, truly, is because we worked so hard at such a young age. I know that shortly after that, I wound up getting a job when I was able to, like, work real hours. I got a job at McDonald's, and I worked there forever.
Yeah. And you really worked your way up the chain, because you became, like, a manager, didn't you?
I sure did. So I went from, right when you start working somewhere like that, you're only, like, especially at, like, 15, 16, you're only allowed to work the front register, maybe do a little bit of cleanup in the lobby, and then from there they promote you to, like, drive-through, and then they'll put you in the back window by yourself where you're taking money and taking orders, and then eventually I was a manager, and then I was the closing manager. So even just the work ethic that we got at Daubers turned into the work ethic that I got for working at McDonald's, and how, like, I would literally get out of school, have 30 minutes to 29 minutes, because our school got out at 3:01. But mind you, like, the McDonald's that I worked at was here. Our football field was here, like this, butted up to our McDonald's, and then my high school was right here. And I would literally just walk, like, this little pathway that they had to, like, our back lot or whatever, which was behind the football field, which was connected to the parking lot of McDonald's. So I would literally just get in my car, drive right in, park. I would change in my car, take, like, 10 minutes for myself, and then go start my shift, and I would work until, like, midnight. We would close at, like, midnight, and I would just hustle, and then on the weekends, I would be the 6 a.m.er. So I feel like that definitely, again, that first job really kind of instilled the values that I wound up having later, as far as, like, the more you work, the harder you work, the more you get out of it. And so I was just hustling, which that then in turn, of course, turned out to be me now. Obviously, there's a lot of, like, little miscellaneous jobs between, like, McDonald's, me going to college, all those things, but nonetheless, I feel like those are, like, kind of a short story version of my resume, if you will, of how I just feel like I continued to do the best that I could, even in something like being 13, 14 years old at a little cafe attached to a bingo hall, you know? So
for sure, absolutely.
How do you feel like your work history evolved after leaving your first job?
Yeah, so, I mean, I was a little bit more, like, job hopping, because for me, it was a little bit more difficult to find my place in the world, I felt like, and to find a place that not only I fit in, but to be completely honest, where I didn't want to, like, set myself on fire. You know what I mean?
Those jobs when you're younger that you have no choice but to get because you have no skills, you have no experience, you have no degree, they are brutal. Like, now that I own a business, I'm like, God, I would give nothing. I would give everything to, like, work a week at McDonald's and, like, be like to my younger self, like, what were you bitching about?
Literally.
I would give everything to do nothing. Do you know what I mean?
Or like, to not take work home with you.
Yes. Like, but when you are young like that, oh, it feels brutal. It feels awful. Your managers basically hate you. Yeah. Because they're like, And I get it because teenagers scare the living shit out of me.
Oh, same.
But, like, I get it. So, but as a teenager this is your first and only job, it sucks.
Yeah, and I feel like for me, like right after, working for Daubers, I had a couple like miscellaneous jobs throughout high school. But really when because I graduated when we were 17, so I kind of had to wait a little bit longer till I was an adult, you know what I mean? Just because of where my birthday fell in the year. But, I feel like right after high school is when I got really set in stone with I want to be a tattoo artist, and I had to also obviously support myself and support the little bills that I did have, especially because my mom was moving at the time. So really when I turned 18, she was kind of doing her thing and I was doing mine, so I kind of had to think on my feet and figure out like, okay, well, where am I going to live? What am I going to do? Et cetera, et cetera. So as well as put myself through my apprenticeship. So, I started working actually at Medtronic, which is a medical assembly, and I kind of bounced around between different medical assembly jobs while I was doing my apprenticeship. Just because for some reason in Frankie land and in Frankie brain, doing tiny little, I have little hands, so doing intricate little things and being able to just kind of listen to an audiobook, that was kind of my zone, but those hours were grueling, man, because my medical assembly jobs, it would start at 5:30 a.m. and go to 2, right? So I would have to be up at like 4 a.m., take a shower, do my thing, and then from 2 to, or I should say 2:30, or it was however long it took for traffic to get to the studio for my apprenticeship, from like 2:15 to 2:30 all the way until 9 p.m. because the shop didn't even open until noon, and it was usually noon to 9. That was my...
Well, and sometimes they would have you there doing essentially grunt work and bitch work until midnight.
Yeah, and then I would have to go home. All I had time to do was eat something and go to bed, and there were some nights where I maybe got 3 hours of sleep, and I had to get up, do it all over again, So... really in my apprenticeship is where I feel like a lot of my work ethic and my work tolerance was able to be built, because I feel like when you own your own business, and I know that we've talked about this a little bit before, there's less of an instant gratification. You know what I mean? You sacrifice now to get rewarded later, and I feel like not a lot of people have that discipline to sacrifice something for now to reward later. Everyone wants it. They want the instant gratification right meow, you know?
Yeah. I definitely can relate, because when I was in school, there were so many people that were like living off of their student loans, paying their rent, getting their groceries, paying for their school, all of that. And I was like, girl, I'm going to work after this. Like, I only took out as many loans as I needed for school, because I'll be damned if I'm going to spend that much money. I love how in our last episode we were like, we're going to be better about swearing because we want to get monetized, and we've been
we're just keeping it real. This is how we are. This is how we talk,
we'll
okay?
We'll worry about the swearing and monetization when we get closer to those goals. But anyways, I definitely was like, I'm not taking out any more money that I have to pay back, especially Uncle Sam, more than I have to. Like, are you serious? So yeah, I was hustling through high school. I was hustling through college. And I remember I was just so ready to be done with high school and college, because I was like, this is 8+ hours out of my day that essentially you're working another job, but you're not getting paid. It's volunteer work. It's court mandated volunteer work. You have to go, or they're going to come knock on your door, but they're not going to pay you for it. And you get a cool little paper that says you did it at the end of it. Right? And then with college, you don't have to go if you don't want to, but you're still going to pay for the day that you didn't go. And you're going to have to make that up later. And you're going to have to pay for the day that you have to make up for. Yeah. So I definitely feel like, I know that I was so ready to be done, because I was like, this is 8 extra hours of the day that I could be working and making money. And now I work 10-hour days, 4 days a week, plus the occasional Wednesday. And then we come in and we do our podcast, and then we're posting every day. Like, I definitely took that idea that I had in high school of, wow, this is 8 extra hours of the day that I'll get back that I can make money off of. And I sure as shit am like, how can I make more money in my day because I have all this free time?
But that's that hustler mentality.
It is. I definitely feel like the hustler mentality was built at a very young age. And I feel like that's why when so many people are like, oh, I could never. Well, that's also because as soon as I was like, I kind of want to get a job, my parents were like, hell yeah, you do. Because I've always been bougie, okay? I've always been wanting to run around with my friends. I've always been wanting to go do fun things. Even if it was just like, oh, it's a Friday night, I want to go out to Fun Zone and go. It was a roller skating rink. Me and all my friends would go out there, whatever. So I would every Friday want to go out to the roller rink. Well, that's $20. And it was out in Woodbury, which was like a 20 to 25 minute drive from my house. So my parents are driving me. My parents are giving me the $20 to be there, to have food, all of this stuff. And then they have to come pick me back up at the end of the night, you know? So my parents were definitely like, great, we love that you want a job. Like, there was no hesitation, where I feel like even a lot of the people that I was around, it was either, no, I want you to focus on school, I'll take care of it. I know so many people that went through college, and if they didn't take out loans, their parents had no problem paying for that. And while I love that for them, it built two different people later in life, because I hustled my ass off. I still hustle my ass off. And while some days, like, that is draining and that is grueling, I get to stand on my own business and say, I did this for myself.
Yeah.
I own my car. I pay all my bills. I own my own business. Like, I am literally 28 years old. I have already owned and sold a house. I've owned multiple vehicles and flipped them for the next best one. Own a business. You know, there's a lot of things that I can say that I've done because I just hustle. And as much as people will be like, be careful of the hustle because it's going to drain you. Like, I don't know. The more that I hustle, the more it motivates me to keep hustling. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so for me, I feel like mine came from a big point of survival, to be honest, because, I mean, we joke all the time that we grew up with two different tax brackets, right? And so, you know, my family, we didn't have a whole lot, so if I wanted to go and, you know, go to Fun Zone or whatever, we didn't really have those funds to do that.
We went to Teens Night at the Y a lot.
Yes, because that was free. So we got to do that. But, you know, we didn't have a whole lot of extra stuff. And I remember, you know, I worked at a place called Donatelli's. And at the time, I was in my vegan phase. And I had to have a conversation with my mom and my brother, because my brother had to move home because of his financial situation. And so there were three of us again in the household. And you know, my mom kind of had to have a heart-to-heart with me and be like, hey, we can't have you be vegan right now because we really need you to get that one free meal at work. That would really help our financial situation. You know what I mean? Because, you know, when you work at a restaurant, you get like a break and you get one free meal. And unfortunately, when you're working in an Italian restaurant, what are you going to freaking eat that's completely vegan? You know what I mean? So, so I feel like working for me was really big, based on survival. You know, I too have, you know, all of the things I have in my adult life are things that, you know, I earned myself. But for me, it was because I had to. You know, if I wanted it, there was nobody who, you know, did have the means to give it to me. So I feel like for me, you know what I mean, it's more so of, you know, no one's going to come with a handout, you know what I mean? And, you know, there are people that I know in our lives who, you know, have had that, where they have had, you know, people pay for their schooling, and, you know what I mean, more power to them. But it also makes a different type of person, right? Because I want to be the spirit that our future grandchildren call upon when shit gets hard. You know 100%. What I mean? I don't want to be the one who's, you know, been taking the easy route. You know, I want to be someone that's inspiring to our future generations.
Right. And honestly, like, not just schooling, right? There are people that have just called up their parents or their grandparents or their auntie or whoever that can pay their credit card debt or pay for their mortgage for the month or whatever it is, that they're like, oh shit, I don't know how I'm going to be able to get out of this. And they have somebody that they can fall back on. And much to your point, while I started working because I wanted to, when I moved out, my parents were like, you got it, big dog. Yeah. And that was that. Like, that was seriously, my parents were the kind of like, if an emergency ever occurred and I had to move back home, they got me, right? But it really was like, good luck, kid. You know, like, you wanted to move out, you got it, you know? And so it really was. And then after my dad passed away, my mom got a boyfriend, moved out with him. We kind of fell off, don't have very much communication. We're working on it. It definitely, I haven't had anybody for years. I mean, in my last 2 relationships, I was the breadwinner. I brought all the money home. I was the hustler. I was the one who took care of everything.
Samesies.
Vacations, bills, groceries. In my previous marriage, I was literally like, do you even know where the laundry soap comes from? Because, like, you've never even had to go shopping for, like, laundry soap. Like, seriously. Like, do you even know, like, where
the laundry fairy brings it and folds all the clothes and puts it in your drawer.
So it's just kind of like, okay. So, I don't know. After so long of doing it because I wanted to, it became survival. It became instinctual. And it just became habitual to do it, make sure it was taken care of, and there's nobody coming to save me. There was nobody coming to save me physically, mentally, emotionally, or financially. And so I better just hustle through it. And for me now, I feel like I have to balance a line of hustling because I need to and I want to for survival, right? Because obviously if I become a lazy POS, like, who's going to where's the money coming from? How are the bills getting paid? Shut up. So, like, the big dog in me could never. Yeah. So, I definitely, like, I see where I still, like, I have to work because, hello, I'm an adult. But also balancing not overworking because I used that as a distraction from the shit that I was going through a lot. And I know that's something that you are, There's this song by Russ. It's called Clue. And there's literally a line in there where he says something about, like, grinding was protecting me from the part of me, something.
Grinding was blinding me from the part of me I was running from or something like that?
Something about, protecting me from the part of me that I was running from or something like that. And I was like, ooh, like, that's one of my literally top 3 favorite songs still. It's only been out for not even a year, and it's still one of my top favorite songs because it's just about how, like, hustling was a coping skill. And it really was. I remember being in here day in and day out when I was going through my divorce. I remember, like, my friends had to convince me not to go to work the next morning after my dad passed away. Like, seriously, just keep it pushing, keep on working, you know, that I had to call my friend when I had to go pick Frankie up, and I had to say, do I go into work right now? And my friend had to tell me, like, you are not mentally well. There is a family emergency happening, and you're like, do I go to work right now? And she was like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. I have work to do. There's things to be done. Which kind of goes back into some of our previous conversations in other episodes about, like, kind of the client relationship and what's the word I'm looking for? Your
vulnerability relationship?
No. Your obligation to your clients.
Yeah.
Where you're obligated to show up and provide that service.
Yeah.
Because rescheduling on them, it doesn't just affect you, it affects them, right? And sometimes there's a little bit of lashing out, a little bit of pushback for having to reschedule, whether that's for a family emergency, having to go to the doctor, whatever. But yeah, so I feel like hustling and grinding is definitely a coping skill as well as it is a necessity. And I know that you can relate to that because I know that you hustle and you also, you personally, and I know I do it too, the more that you and I've talked about it over the last couple days, I notice that I do it as well. Your self-value and your self-worth is directly correlated with how hard you grind and how much money you take home.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that also goes into things to do with, like, my past, you know, because growing up, I mean, prior to even struggling with addiction, I struggled a lot with mental health, as I'm sure you were there, you know what I mean? And for those of you who don't know, you know, I did struggle a lot with mental health. I needed a lot of extra help. There were quite a few times that I was in and out of different institutions, and wherever I was, you always answered the phone. So she's always been my little Captain Save-A-Ho. And, and you know, it wasn't until I started being very successful with tattooing and started making money, that I noticed my family treated me differently. I was no longer a basket case. I was no longer, this mental issued kid. I was a success story, right? Mm-hmm. And that kind of set the pretense for, my self-worth is, seeing how people treated me based on how successful I was. I was like, oh, well, if I continue the success, I'll continue the respect. And if I continue the respect, I'll continue receiving the love, So I feel like that really set the pretense for how I view myself. And it is something that I've been working on, especially because all of that self-love needs to come from internal, right? Mm-hmm. Because Frankie is still valuable, even if I break both of my little mittens and I can't tattoo anymore. Frankie's still a valuable person.
Very valuable.
Thank you, baby. But yeah, no, I feel like money and success is sometimes, especially if you have people in your life that are a little bit, I don't want to say on the toxic side, but, it's a double-edged sword because, especially if you're someone who has struggled, the second you start making money and making a name for yourself, now you're a success story and you feel obligated to keep that reputation going. Because if you don't, now you're somehow receding backwards.
Well, you also are not only obligated to, what's next? What can I do now? How can I keep this train rolling? How can I keep the momentum alive? But there also becomes this, people want something from you. It's almost like you have to be providing something to be of value to them or to be loved by them. And I feel like it's so ironic how the people who scoffed at you during the building of your business, the growing of you, the healing of you, are the first ones to be like, well, what about a discount because I'm family? What about this because I'm so-and-so? What about that for free? What about why aren't you just doing this for me? And it's I have people who have been coming to me for 7 years now that literally didn't even hesitate when I told them I have a price increase coming on July 1st. Literally didn't even bat an eye. Totally fine. But then I have people who have never received a service from me that will tell me that my prices are too high.
Yeah.
You've never even laid in my chair. You have no idea what I bring to the table. You've read the posts. You see what I can do. You heard about what I have in my studio, but you've never even experienced it. So for you to say that it's so funny because those same people are easily going and getting tattoos, hair, lashes, whatever the service is, a house cleaning, whatever, from someone else for full price. But when they have to pay full price to support someone they know, friend, family, brother, whatever the deal is, however you're already connected before you became business owner, now they want a discount from you. No, you can keep going and paying full price for somebody else.
And ironically, those are usually the same people that don't have a lot of work ethic themselves.
True.
Yeah.
Because you don't realize that you're asking for a discount because you think you deserve it. But not only, you don't realize that, one, that's literally how I pay my bills.
Right.
And I'm just going to leave it at number one, because number two is going to start to get real freaking mean. So we're just going to leave it at that, because it shouldn't have to be like I do that. Hello. Jeez. It shouldn't have to be like I do this and then you'll give me this. It shouldn't have to be. There shouldn't be transactional relationships because I own a business.
And that's where I've had to come up with some hella boundaries, because it for me, I've had to set some hard boundaries, because it's almost been like, instead of them purchasing a tattoo service from me, it turned into I'm purchasing love for them by giving them a tattoo service, And that's something that I feel like, especially with having friends or family in business, is really difficult. But it shows how much they actually respect you and your character.
100%. I mean, and I know that a lot of people have said to both you and I, oh, I'm going to have to make a trip down there and get a tattoo, or I'm going to have to come down there and get my lashes done. I want a piece of permanent jewelry. Can you bring your stuff up next time you're up here?
Right.
And here's the deal. If I bring it up to you, you're paying a travel fee. And you're not only paying full price, you're also paying a travel fee. On top of, if you come down here, don't think that because you made the choice to drive down here or catch a flight if you are too lazy to friggin' drive. It's 5.5 hours from our hometown. To put it in perspective. So if you think that because you made a 5.5 hour drive or jumped on a plane, you're staying here for the weekend, I'm going to discount your service, is outlandish. Yeah. Because you didn't have to travel. Oh, but I traveled because I wanted to support you. That right there, you wanted to support me. So you're going to pay. Because that's support. And while you're at it, oh, well, I came down here, so now I don't really have money to tip or get as big of a tattoo as I want or as many services from you, Becca, as I wanted to get, and da-da-da-da. That's fine. So let's scale it back. You can totally pay for a service that you can afford within your means, and then you can tag me in social media posts. Yeah. You can go leave me a Google review. You can follow my pages, right? Like, you also don't even have to come down here and get a service from me. I don't have to bring my stuff up there to give a service to you. You could simply just follow my accounts and like the posts that I post when I post them, comment on them, watch our podcast, leave us a Google review, any of those, because that right there is free support for a small business. And honestly, that's just as important as coming in and actually spending money to get a service.
Yeah, and it's crazy how entitled, like, family and friends and people who know you are, because in the past week and a half I've had 2 people drive over 6 hours to come and see, or
you had
people.
3 because one of them was a couple. They brought their kids down here and they had to switch.
Which, shout out, you guys. I did a really cool lighthouse on him, so go check out my social media.
I was going to say, you did like a whole sleeve on him.
Yeah.
And then you did a piece on her. So he was here for like 6 hours. She was out tootling around with the kids in Omaha, Nebraska. They're from Minnesota. So she's taking the kids on a vacation by herself, essentially, because he's in here for 6 hours getting drilled. And then they switched.
Yeah. And not only did they not ask for a discount, but they tipped pretty heavily. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy to see how strangers can sometimes have more respect for your business. And then
last weekend, you were tattooing someone from ankle to knee with a custom designed piece that you posted, like, hey, this is custom designed, this is the set price. She didn't hesitate.
No, she just was like,
she did a motorcycle ride down here from Minnesota. Was here till 6 p.m., got on her bike and went home. No questions asked. She just messaged and said, can I snag this? Just like that.
Yep.
And don't you have people that are messaging you still to come down? You've had 4 people come down since in the last 30 days. Because Cheryl came down as well.
That's true.
And did a tap out session.
Yeah.
So it's insane to me that people are like, oh yeah, I'll totally. And she's had people that she's met here in Nebraska that have been like, if you ever move, if you ever relocate, if you ever move back to Minnesota, anything, I will follow you. So it's wild that the people that then are closest to you, not closest, but the people that are closer to you,
well, they expect a family discount.
They expect a family discount or something completely free. And it's wild because it's also not only just the people that don't have very much work ethic, it's also usually the people that don't pick up the phone to call you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Don't even get me started.
They don't, and then when they do, it's because they have something to talk about themselves. They don't even ask how you're doing. And then if you do insert how you're doing or what you've done recently, they don't touch on it. They're silent, or the opposite. They have nothing but negative shit to say and give you their opinion about what you could have done better or how you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me. Jack Harlow has a song on his album, his new album, Monica, that I'll have to show you in the car because I've listened to the album a couple times, but you know, sometimes you're just like in that flow state and a song comes, or you're driving on the highway and then like a song comes on and you hear every freaking lyric.
Yeah, or you're tattooing.
It's literally about him like being like, I purposely show up dimming my light to family events, to parties, to whatever with the people that I grew up with so that you guys don't feel uncomfortable. But you get a couple beers in you and you have no problem saying to me what I should have done, how I'm different, how I'm this, how I'm that. And he's like, you know what? Fuck dimming my light for you. Because I tried to do this so that you wouldn't feel some type of way about me being proud and loving my life. And then you're going to talk shit on me anyways? Fine, then fuck you. I'm going to act some type of way. I'm going to actually love my life and I'm going to act out. And we'll listen to that song in the car.
Yeah.
I don't remember the
It
name
is
of the
crazy
song,
though, because in a way I almost feel a little bit the opposite when I go to family, because I feel like if I don't boast about my successes, if I say one small thing about something that I'm struggling with, or maybe something that's not going quite the way that I want, I get afraid that people are going to see that and then judge it and then be like, oh, she's falling back, she's going back into her mental health ways, she's going back into addiction. So I almost feel like I have to be like, everything's great, everything's awesome. It's almost like the persona of social media, like we talked about the last episode. I feel like I have to, with family, I have to be more masking, more fake, more like everything is perfect, everything's great, you know.
I just don't talk about much of anything. I talk about our travels when I'm around people who I feel like are going to judge one way or the other, or going to give opinions about shit that I don't want to hear. I'm pretty sure that I mentioned this in one of our other episodes, but I had said on a Snapchat story, like, I don't ask for people's opinion because I'm going to do it my way regardless. If I do ask for your opinion, it's because I know you've been there, you've done that, and you're going to have good advice. But the people who give you their unsolicited opinion, unsolicited advice, it is always negative.
Girl, for real though. And why is it always so negative?
I don't need to hear that shit. I don't care. I didn't ask. So, like, shut up. Keep it moving. Okay? So, I don't know. I feel like we have strayed from the topic.
Yeah, we usually do.
Our hustle mentality comes from working at a young age, but I feel like this is just, it does kind of go hand in hand with, like, after hustling for so long and grinding for so long and people being like, oh my God, I can't believe you work so hard. Those are the same people that are like, oh, you work really hard. Mm-hmm. Those are the same people that also, when we do talk about our travel or we do something great for ourselves, they're like, oh, must be nice. Yeah. You're so lucky. Yeah, I'm so lucky, right? So lucky.
So lucky to have built something from nothing.
So lucky to have built something from nothing. Been on my hands and knees praying and crying for a miracle. Gone through all of the trauma, the turmoil, the ups and downs that we have, and continued grinding through all of it. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't. I literally signed my divorce papers after work and worked the next day. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm on the phone with my auntie crying about an incident that went on, and the next day I'm at work. Do you know what I like? And I know you know what I mean, but like, it's just insane how, oh, you're lucky. Oh, it must be nice. No, I've worked for this shit. Yeah. I have busted my ass for this shit. So it's not luck.
No, it's hard freaking work. It's and just work. Because you don't have hard work and work ethic in you doesn't mean we're lucky. And we're just willing.
I do believe that, like, the universe and God have given this to me, but I had to work for it too. Mm-hmm. You don't just sit there. Leo Skeppy literally said this in one of his podcasts. You don't just shove a crystal up your ass and then it starts working, okay? Like, you need to speak into existence what you want. Pray on it. Read the tarot cards, right? Carry the crystals in your purse or your asshole if you like that. I don't care. But, like, you gotta do all of those things and be rooted in your faith. I don't care who you believe, what you believe, who you talk to. You gotta have faith that it's gonna work out while you're hustling for it. Mm-hmm. You are not going to just pray on it and hope for the best. Mm-hmm. No, you have to make it work for you at the same time.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's another thing, is a lot of you don't have faith in where you're going to wind up. And I truly believe, speaking on the negative that is continuously around you, you will only see the negative around you. And that's what the universe, that's what God, that's what whoever else, Buddha, Allah, I don't care who you talk to, that's what they're going to bring to the table, right? Because they're like, oh, that's all you ever talk about, so obviously that's what you want to see. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Instead of asking for what you're searching for.
And
you know?
being willing to accept what you're searching for, right? Because, you know, there was this thing that I saw on social media that was like, I asked God for courage, so he gave me situations to be courageous. He gave me monsters to battle to be courageous in. And if you're asking for success or wealth or whatever, you're going to have opportunities where you're going to have to work hard. And how you respond to those opportunities is how the universe is going to instill the new opportunities coming to you. Because if you're given an opportunity and you're like, ooh, that's too hard, that requires effort, the universe is going to see that and be like, oh, okay, you want to take the easy way, so you're going to get mediocre
100%.
results.
Even one of our best friends, she just moved into an apartment all by herself. She doesn't have any roommates. Go, period, Pookie. But I sent her a message. It was like, happy moving day, because we were working. She told me like a week beforehand that she was moving, so we weren't able to help her move in. But love her. She's just not a good planner. So she's
gonna watch this and be like, bitch.
She's gonna be like, you fucking bitch. But she's also gonna do one of these. She's gonna be like, because she knows it's true. So I sent her a text and I was like, so proud of you. This is so exciting. Keep in mind, like, while this is a turning point. This is a point in your life where you're going to experience growth. Growing pains suck. Like, just giving her a very, like, kind of what we just talked about in the podcast. We're like, there's going to be hard work. There's going to be growing pains with this. Not every moment of beauty and greatness is simply beauty and greatness. There are struggles that come with the successes, but you've got this, and the woman you're going to be, because of all of these changes and these accomplishments that you're taking care of right now, is going to be so beautiful and so amazing. So even in events like getting your first house, you have to work really hard to own a home. Mm-hmm. When you sign the paperwork and move-in day, that's not where the struggles end. Now you have to take care of your own appliances, your own water heater, your own furnace and air conditioner, your roof, your yard. You are in charge of all of that. Mm-hmm. Having children, you don't just have sex, get pregnant, pop a kid out, and that's where the struggles end. You have to keep this thing alive for a long time. And you gotta try and not traumatize them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's more to raising a kid.
There's a lot here, okay? It's a lot of hard work. So it's like, there's hard work in everything that you do. And I feel like, just to kind of give us full circle and take us back to the topic of today's episode, which we keep straying away from, there is hard work in every goal, every accomplishment, every dream. And how you were raised and at what age you started creating that version of yourself will determine how bad you want those goals and dreams, but also what you'll sacrifice to have them. Because any goal, dream, vision that we have for ourselves in the future takes a sacrifice.
Yeah.
It takes, and like you said, not everybody is built to give things up to be the next better version of themselves. Whether that's as a business owner, whether that's as a homeowner, whether that's moving out of the state, having children, weight loss. There are so many different things where you have to sacrifice a part of you, a part of your lifestyle, to be a newer, better version of yourself. And I feel like, because we realized at such a young age, we had to give up time with our friends, our weekends in the summer. We had to give up hours of our summer in order to make money and feel a little bit more adulty. It's a little bit easier for us to go, I have no problem giving that up because I'm going to wind up getting this. The math just kind of maths harder for us because we were already doing those equations at a young age.
Right. Absolutely. And, you know, if you're watching and, you know, you're thinking to yourself of all the goals that you have, you know, just be willing to make the sacrifices. Be willing to, you know, take the instant gratification and just push it out a little bit because it's worth it in the end, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't really have anything else to touch on because I feel like we definitely woo. all the way off topic. So I feel like I don't have anything else to touch on the main topic because this topic spiraled and we had a lot of things to say about a lot of other things. Yeah. But they all kind of related. Like, I don't feel like we got too far out there.
No, for sure. I feel like the main point is just work hard and you'll get a big reward. Don't work hard and you won't get a big reward.
And the sooner you start working hard, the sooner those things will pay off and those skills will start to be built inside of you. I keep trying to use big words today and my brain is literally just like, bitch, it's Monday, it's your fucking day off, like, shut up, quit being a smart bitch. So I definitely feel like the sooner you start doing those things, you don't start college and a year later have a PhD. It takes a really long time to start school and end with your PhD, and then you have to start the career, okay? That is how pretty much anything in life is going to be. It is a long journey. It's a long fight. It's a hard battle. But the sooner you start it, the sooner you will start to reap those benefits, the fruits of your labor.
Mm-hmm. So, moral of the story, work hard, bitches.
Oh. Also, happy Pride Month. It is June 1st, and we just I literally told her last night, I was like, I'm going to be so gay this month, and she goes, yay.
Yay.
So, happy Pride Month. And so if you made it this far, comment a rainbow down below with like one of the strong arms.
Heck yeah.
So, cause
rainbows
strong.
For her, strongs for me.
Oh my god. Because you are strong and independent and you're going to make it to whatever the next chapter, next goal in your life is because you work hard. You're independent. You a boss bitch. Boss boy. I don't care what you are.
Boss they. Whatever your thing is.
I don't care. But also it's Pride Month. So strong arms and rainbows. And we will catch you guys next week.
Adios, guys.
Okay, bye. Catch you later, bye.